Hey guys, it's Alejandro Kolleeny here with another literary classic in 3 minutes. This week I'm doing Jane Eyre. Okay, so Jane Eyre is a sad orphan who is ruthlessly tormented by her evil aunt and cousins for being just. She is a beacon of justice in a harsh and beaconless night, and when the unjust members of her family see that she is intelligent and defiant, it makes them hate her even more. They send her to boarding school where the teachers attempt to break her spirit, but Jane remains stoic, eventually applying to be a governess, teaching the daughter of the brisk and prickly Mr. Rochester, and no one in the book will shut up about how unattractive Jane Eyre is. I think this has something to do with the time period. You know, this was written by a woman during a point in time when women were explicitly treated as though their physical appearance equaled their worth. So by reminding the reader that this is an amazing and intelligent character who also happens to be a relatively plain-looking young woman, Charlotte Bronte is undermining this fallacy, but to a modern reader it's very off-putting because literally every character Jane Eyre meets, the first thing they do is go, "Wow, you look like shit, like can we not do that?" It's very uncomfortable. So Jane Eyre and Rochester start getting to know each other better, and Rochester takes a liking to her in part because she keeps inexplicably saving his life. Like one time she comes upon him in the woods with a broken leg, another time she's up late at night and she sees someone sneak into his room and set fire to his bed, so she runs in and pours some water on the bed, and she goes, "Who the hell just set fire to your bed?" And Rochester goes, "Don't worry about it." The two of them get closer and eventually fall in love, and Rochester proposes to Jane. The two of them are ecstatic when suddenly it turns out the person who set fire to Rochester's bed is his crazy wife, who he married before she went crazy and whom he now keeps imprisoned in his attic. And Jane is understandably mad. She goes, "I can't marry you." And Rochester goes, "Oh yeah, because I have a living human being imprisoned in my attic?" And she goes, "No, it's because it's your wife. Like if it had just been some random human being imprisoned in the attic, it would be no big thing." But in any case, Jane leaves. She refuses to take any money. She just wanders around town destitute until she's nearly starved to death. At which point she collapses at the front door of some random house during a rainstorm. She's taken in by a guy named St. John and his sisters. They nurse her back to health. They help her find work. They go, "Who are you?" And she goes, "I can't tell you because it's so interesting." And at this point, the book gets really fucking boring. There's a period of 150 pages where Jane reads, she learns another language. There's even an extended sequence where St. John goes, "Jane, I want you to marry me and come with me to be a missionary in India." And Jane goes, "No, I don't want to do that." And he goes, "Come on." And she goes, "No." And he goes, "Come on." And she goes, "No." And he goes, "Oh my God, look, are you done? Do you have more to tell me?" So one day St. John comes in and he goes, "Hey, you're Jane Eyre. I know this because Rochester has been posting newspaper advertisements looking for you. Also, a relative of yours just died and left you a fortune. Also, you're my cousin." Oh wow, look, what a coincidence that Jane Eyre just happened to collapse at her cousin's doorstep. However, in the 1800s, you're allowed to explain away lazy narration with the word providence. So Providence has orchestrated all these miraculous coincidences. Jane Eyre returns to Thornfield Hall, which has burned to the ground. The crazy wife got loose one night and set fire to the whole place. Rochester burned his eyes out. He's blind, and the two of them have this tearful reunion. They pledge to spend the rest of their lives together, and Jane just doesn't care about the fact that there was a human imprisoned in the attic. So the end of the story is that after 2 years of living together, Rochester is so happy and in love that his vision returns in one eye. Like the power of love gives him part of his vision back. And Jane, like, why doesn't Jane care that there was a woman am I crazy because I think that's a big deal? I think that's a big deal. Fuck, it's hot. This was not the day to do this. Jesus. Fucking Christ. This is like take 41 too.